It's a Saturday night in San Diego, 108 back home in the valley today. Tonight, though, we'll dial it down about 40 degrees, low 70s, cool, a heavy cloud cover in the air. And that marine layer hangs over Petco Park, where the Diamondbacks are here to play the Padres in a rematch of Sunday's game at Chase Field. It's Jeremy Hellickson and Andrew Kashner on Fox Sports Arizona. And good evening from Petco Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly along the way. The Diamondbacks and the Padres, game 2 of this 3-game series. Jeremy Hellickson on the mound for the D-backs tonight. He beat these Padres Sunday back home at Chase Field. He's lost just once, Bob, in his last 10 starts. What has worked so well lately for Jeremy?
Well, his changeup has been fantastic. That was the grip we just showed you from Jeremy Hellickson. A lot of downward movement, about 8 to 10 miles an hour slower than his fastball. The spiked curve that he features as well as one of his secondary pitches has really been good for him lately. That 12-6 break when it gets into the hitting zone produced a lot of swings and misses, and we thought we'd have a little fun with it. This is a changeup and a curveball. We synced them up as best we could. Very similar movement and very similar velocity, but to the hitter, because of the rotation on the ball, they read two completely different pitches, and whatever it is, it's been working well for Jeremy his last 7 starts.
Outstanding 4-1 in those 7 starts, a whip of 109, which is just terrific. 34 strikeouts against only 9 walks. So Hellickson versus Kashner, the pitching matchup here. And more Yasmani Tomas, who made his major league debut in this ballpark a couple of months ago. The more, Bob, it seems he plays in this division, the more he gets used to these big NL West outfields.
You know, I was talking about it with A.J. Pollock in Denver. He likes to run the big expanses in Coors Field. Well, Yasmani Tomas is roaming around pretty good here at Petco, covering a lot of ground in right field.
We are just about set for baseball here in San Diego, trying to cash in like they did Sunday at Chase Field against Andrew Kashner. He takes on Jeremy Hellickson. First pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona.
Brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life?
by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box.
Back to Petco Park here in San Diego on this Saturday night. Our exclusive coverage of Diamondbacks baseball continues here on Fox Sports Arizona Game 2 of this 3-game series. I'm Todd Walsh inside the Arizona Diamondbacks dugout. A National League West battle. The Padres and the Diamondbacks, they've seen a lot of each other. In fact, Andrew Cashner gets the ball for the 4th time this year against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've scored 13 runs on him, only 5 earned. So what's the book on Cashner against this group of guys? Went around the room earlier today to find out.
He's tough because his fastball has a lot of movement, so you gotta see it out over the plate, and that's kind of what we've been preaching the past couple times we faced him, and you just got to get him up too, because he tries to throw that off speed not for a strike, and so you just got to see him up.
As a group, we're gonna be patient. I mean, be patient, but at the same time, we're going to be aggressive. I know he's a fastball hitter, fastball thrower, and we're just going to be aggressive and wait for elevate the fastball.
We're just trying to beat him, honestly, any way we can. He throws really hard, good slider. Just going to try to make it uncomfortable for him.
Remember, the Diamondbacks had that 7-run inning against Cashner last time out back at Chase Field, but Chip Hill reminding us earlier today that he thought for the first time this year they took the pedal off the gas after all those runs. So here we go. Cashner and Hellickson saw that matchup a week ago. Here we go tonight. Steve and Bob have the call. Game 2 of 3 coming up in just a moment.
Make sure they don't try to sneak some players in there that you don't know anything about.
Glenn Sherlock and Dave McKay checking things out as we get set for the Diamondbacks and the Padres. Andrew Cashner, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for San Diego, set to face the Diamondbacks for the 2nd time in less than a week. And the D-backs had that 7-run second inning against Cashner on Father's Day back home at Chase Field. And tonight, they are facing Cashner for the 4th time already this season, and so far he is 0-3 against them. Here's Chip Hale.
In your division, you see these guys so much, and it seems like we're facing the same pitchers. I think it is because we're playing so close together. And, he actually had really good stuff last time we faced him in Phoenix. We capitalized on some mistakes they made in one inning to score all of our runs. So we're looking to make obviously capitalize on any mistakes he makes or their defense, but also to just have better at-bats as we go into the game.
Andrew Cashner, 9 losses. The Phillies' Aaron Harang is the only Major League pitcher who's lost more games than Cashner this year. And that 4.35 ERA, nearly 2 full runs more, Bob, than it was last year.
Really puzzling numbers for a guy that has plus stuff. He's got a 4-seam fastball in the mid to upper 90s, a 2-seamer with a lot of sink as it gets into the hitting zone, a really good slider, a really good changeup. Just the numbers just don't reflect how good his stuff is. Talked about that 7-run second last time he pitched against the Diamondbacks. He had 3 hits. His team made a couple of errors behind him. He hit a batter. He did strike out 2 in the inning. Yasmani Tomas twice.
For the first 2 outs. Nick Ahmed in the leadoff spot tonight, and we are set to go here. Nick at 231 and 4 homers. The crew chief Gary Cederstrom is our plate umpire, and there's strike 1. 70 degrees at first pitch. The air, and we talked about this in our open, a little dribbler that kicks off the mound right to Amarista, who bobbles it, and Ahmed's aboard to lead off the ball game. Cashner having a flashback to Sunday now.
What did Andrew Cashner do to his defense? They hate him.
Apparently.
Holy cow. I mean, this is about as routine a play as it can be. A little hopper to the left side of the infield, climbs up to the heel of the glove into the midsection, and Amarista can't make a play.
So Nick's aboard. 2 pitches into the ball game. And here is A.J. Pollock, E6. The error on Amarista puts Ahmed at first. And there's strike 1 to A.J., who's top 10 in the league and hitting at .304. The 9 homers already a career high. Mention the air tonight. You talk about the June gloom, Bob. You mentioned that last night. We are in the thick of it tonight. There's a very heavy marine layer just kind of hovering over the ballpark tonight.
Just a few moments of sunlight this afternoon. It's pretty much been like this all day. Very comfortable, but not what you usually expect when you come to San Diego.
It's just been cloudy and overcast all day long. But I guess it's better than 110. So we'll take it. This one is lifted in the air along the right field line, but it's drifting in the seats and out of play. The lineup for Chip Hale's Diamondbacks tonight.
And Nick Ahmed once again finds his way to the top of the order. He'll be at short. A.J. Pollock in center. Paul Goldschmidt down at first base. David Peralta likes this ballpark. A .314 career average here at Petco. Yasmani Tomas in right. Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching. Jake Lamb at third. Chris Owings at second. And right-hander Jeremy Hellickson on the mound.
0-2. Alonso leaps up and grabs that one right in front of Dave McKay in foul territory, and that's the first out of the ball game.
AJ's got a little bit of bat left in his hand there. Got jammed badly. Alonso a few steps into foul territory, moved Dave McKay out of the way and made the catch.
It was like he was going for an offensive rebound on that one. So here's Goldie now, .352 and 20 home runs. Part of that OPS you see right there is a .470 on base percentage that leads the major leagues. Of course, the OPS is the on base percentage plus the slugging percentage. And Goldie among the league's elite in that and many other categories. And he is the only Diamondback position player to get a base hit last night, a 2-run single. The only other D-backs hit by last night's starting pitcher, Robbie Ray.
Even though the offense didn't show up numerically, you love the approach they had last night against Tyson Ross as opposed to the way they attacked him at Chase Field. They were much more patient. They took their walks. They set the table for that one big base hit at the right time. Unfortunately, Goldie had the only hit among the position players, driving in 2 runs.
And Tyson Ross walked 5 through 2 2/3 last night to start the ball game. There's a roller to shortstop. Amarista, Spangenberg, and a scoop by Alonso. They turn the double play. They are underway in San Diego. And Jeremy Hellickson set to take the mound back after this. They've won just once in 4 games at Petco Park this year. And on the mound tonight, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, Jeremy Hellickson, a winner in his previous start against the Padres last Sunday at Chase Field. His pitching coach is Mike Harkey.
He's made some really good adjustments. I think, one of the things he's probably figured out is that he's got to use his curveball more, or as much as he uses his changeup. I mean, he's a guy who's used his changeup predominantly throughout his whole career as his out pitch, and not really realizing how good his curveball really is.
The numbers on Hellickson for the year: he's lost only once in his last 10 starts, and says he's feeling good right now, able to throw strikes with any of his big 3 pitches.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right what Mike Harkey said. It's key that he use that curveball as much as he uses his changeup, especially on a night like this here in San Diego. We mentioned the thick marine layer. The air is going to really bite on that curveball. Should be a good one tonight as you see the weapons available to Jeremy.
Matt Kemp leads it off for the Padres. Jumps on the first one and laces it down the left field line. It's in the corner. Peralta's in there to play it off the wall, and Matt Kemp is in there with his 16th double. Kemp last night 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. He's right back in the hit column tonight.
Doesn't Matt Kemp know that a leadoff hitter is supposed to take a few pitches and see what the guy's throwing? He jumps on the first offering from Jeremy Hellickson and rips it down into that left field corner for a leadoff double.
Well, that's one of the big reasons Pat Murphy put Kemp in the leadoff spot this week. He said the Padres need to strike first. And Matt Kemp does just that. Here's Yangervis Solarte now. Jake Lamb will come in a bit at third base. And Solarte, sure enough, shows bunt but fouls it off. The lineup for Pat Murphy's Padres tonight.
You've seen Matt Kemp at the top. He'll be out in right field. Solarte at the plate right now at third base. Yonder Alonso at first. Justin Upton out in left field. Derek Norris behind the plate. Will Venable with outstanding numbers in 8 at-bats against Jeremy Hellickson. Corey Spangenberg at second. Alexi Amarista at short. And Andrew Cashner, the righty, on the mound.
Solarte 242, couple of home runs. And the night off last night. Nick Ahmed sneaking in behind Kemp there from his shortstop spot. A roller to second, right to Chris Owings. They move Kemp along, and that's the first out. Take a look at the Diamondbacks around Jeremy Hellickson tonight. It's our mid-first bank starting defense.
Broken record in the outfield with Ender Inciarte on the disabled list. It'll be David Peralta in left, A.J. Pollock in center, Yasmani Tomas in right. The infield, Lamb, Ahmed, Owings, and Goldschmidt third to first. Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate tonight for right-hander Jeremy Hellickson.
So Solarte does his job, hits it to the right-hand side. Kemp's at third with 1 out for Yonder Alonso, the first baseman. 321 and 2 home runs. A pair of hits last night, including an RBI double. And he's going to drop that into right center for an RBI. San Diego strikes first. 3 batters into the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Padres.
I heard Mark Harkey say it, and I seconded it. He needs to throw his curveball as often as his changeup in the ballgame, but he needs to throw better curveballs than this. That's belt high, middle of the plate. That pitch started up around the shoulders, ended up right in the middle of the plate.
It's the 20th RBI all season for Alonso. And here's Justin Upton. Upton hitting .272, leading the Padres in home runs and RBIs. And he does hit for power in this pitcher's park. 10 of those 13 home runs have come right here at Petco. Well, you're going to have to slug it to get it out here tonight.
The average higher at home is not unusual. Most guys feel more comfortable hitting in their home ballpark, but the home run's really a surprise when you think about some of the places where Jay Up plays on the road and the power that he possesses. You would think those numbers would be exactly the opposite.
Yeah, they did their homework on him. He had always hit, for whatever reason, particularly well in this ballpark when he was with both the Diamondbacks and the Braves. One of the few guys that did among visiting players. He's ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. There you go. Pretty good career numbers in this ballpark.
In a notorious pitcher's ballpark. Well, they have moved the fences in a little bit. They've reconfigured it a little bit, but all the conditions here tend to favor the pitcher.
3-1 pitch. Fastball right by him, and it's full 3-2.
That's a good place to challenge Justin Upton with a heater up there above the belt, even a little higher than that. He's a real good low ball hitter, doesn't have to work nearly as hard to get the barrel of the bat to a low pitch.
Alonso holds it first, and Upton drops it into right center field. A base hit. Yonder Alonso heads for third, and he'll get there. Third Padres hit in this inning.
He's been beaten on a couple of curveballs in this inning. First to Yonder Alonso. You can see that one hanging up there around the belt, and then Justin Upton in a 3-2 count gets another hanger up there around the belt. You can't really totally abandon that pitch, but you might want to put it in your back pocket for another inning until you get a better feel for it. Continue to try to throw it, but throw it in counts where you can bounce it.
Well, they're on the corners with 1 out, a run already in, and here's the dangerous Derek Norris at 246, 9 homers. And 6 of those homers have come right here in this ballpark. He will take you deep at Petco. Watching Padre batting practice today down on the field. This guy hits the ball really hard. I mean, there's hard hit balls, but it just comes off the bat like a rifle shot when he's down there.
There's some anger in that swing.
It sure is. He's been a consistent run producer for them this year. 39 RBIs from the catching position this season. That leads the National League. Alonso's at third. Justin Upton at first. Still just 1 out. It's a roller to shortstop. Ahmed charges. They get 1, but Alonso scores the second Padre run.
Oh, what a great mid-play adjustment right there. Nick was thinking about trying to turn 2 with Derek Norris running at the plate, but bobbled the ball, snagged it out of midair with his bare hand, and threw on in time to get the out at first. Unfortunately, Alonso comes home with the second run of the game.
And Upton moves up to second, 2 down now for Will Venable. He's still only thrown 14 pitches, Jeremy Hellickson. Venable 263 and 5 homers. He homered against Jeremy Hellickson back at Chase Field last month. Pops this one up, but it's drifting back and into the seats out of play.
You know, some very aggressive at-bats by the Padres here in the first inning. It could be by design. They may have looked at some video and determined that their best chance was to attack Hellickson early in the at-bat. could be just that he's made enough mistakes in the middle of the plate that they're getting pitches they want to hit.
Trying to strand that run at second and limit the damage. Venable's been a tough out for the Diamondbacks this year. 9 for 22 versus the D-backs this season, including 3 extra base hits.
Hitting over 408 games against the Diamondbacks this year. I'm not sure what the Padres are going to do moving forward, but I think Will Venable is an everyday player. He's found himself as part of a platoon, as a bench player this year, and with the injury to Will Myers getting a lot more playing time. But this guy was one of the better outfielders in the National League just a couple years ago. He was on the cover of the media guide last year.
Started this year as something of a forgotten man with Upton and Myers and Kemp, the new outfield, but injuries and slumps have given Venable new life since the end of April, and he's really hit the ball pretty well. And hold up that time, however, and there's the strikeout to strand Upton and end the first, but the Padres get 2. They lead it 2-0. HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and a whole lot more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply, so check MLB.TV for details. As David Peralta leads off the second against Andrew Kashner, who had a nice, tidy 8-pitch first inning and now has a 2-0 lead. Peralta just under 260 and 5 homers. And the shift is on for the Padres. They load up the right-hand side. And Solarte all by himself over there, midway between second and third. A strike. Andrew Kashner got a call there from Gary Cederstrom.
Oh my! Wow. Quinn Wolcott ruined the strike zone last night.
He broke it. There's Quinn. He's at third base. A bit of an off night last night behind the plate, but it's carried over apparently to the crew chief. Now it's full, 3-2. Center field, it drops in front of Venable, and David Peralta has a leadoff single. Diamondbacks' first hit tonight against Andrew Cashner. Take a look at the Padres around Cashner. It's our mid-first bank starting defense for San Diego.
Justin Upton, the only Upton in the lineup tonight. Will Venable in center, Matt Kemp over in right. It'll be Solarte and Amarista on the left side of the infield with Spangenberg and Alonso on the right side. Derek Norris behind the plate, and right-hander Andrew Cashner on the mound.
Matt Kemp, the right fielder and the leadoff man. That just started this week. Yasmani Tomas steps in. .316 and 3 homers. There's a strike, 0-1. Tomas just 4 hits in his last 18 at bats, but all 4 hits came in one game. That was the 4-for-5 night he had at Coors Field on Wednesday. Hitless last night here, a couple of walks. Knocks it into right, a base hit. Kemp is on it. Peralta holds. Couple of singles to lead off the second for the Diamondbacks. And here comes Jared Saltalamacchia.
If there's such a thing as a signature Yasmani Tomas hit, this is it. Take an inside fastball, pull your hands in close to your body, and shoot it through that big hole on the right side of the infield. That's just smart hitting.
D-backs trying to answer the Padre 2 spot in the bottom of the first. And a chance here for Salty with Peralta at second and Tomas at first. Coming off a Hall of Fame at bat in his last appearance at Coors Field against John Axford. A tremendous, I think, 10 pitches before he worked a walk to tie the ball game in the 9th inning.
And didn't chase bad pitches, but you know, fouled off the borderline ones that were too close to take. Just kept staying alive, ran the count to full, and then ultimately drew a bases loaded walk.
It was epic. '96 is fouled off, and Salty's quickly down 0-2. This was the at-bat we're talking about. Wednesday, 9th inning against the Rockies closer.
I mean, Axford was throwing 98 at the time.
Fouls off. Finally takes ball 4 to force in the tying run. And then Aaron Hill followed with a sac fly. Diamondbacks 3 in the 9th. They came back to win at 8-7. And he strikes out this time for a strikeout for Cashner. 1 down in the second. Jake Lamb now. And Jake quite happy not to see Tyson Ross out there.
I think the entire Diamondbacks roster is happy not to see Tyson Ross.
Just under 260 for the year. And his last 2 games against the Padres when Ross has started, Jake has gone hitless in 4 plate appearances with 3 strikeouts both times. He has not solved the riddle of Tyson Ross, who looked good last night, despite the 5 walks through 2 2/3. Diamondbacks just not able to take advantage. Robbie Ray, who had one of the 2 hits against Tyson Ross last night. Robbie pitched pretty well. Gave up 3 runs, only 2 were earned. 5 hits in 6, struck out 5, and did not walk a batter. He's been really good.
Yes, he has.
A ball and a strike to Jake Lamb. Cranking it up, couple of 97s there, and Cashner jumps ahead 1-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Flare to center. Get down, ball. And it drops in. Everybody had to hold up, and the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded. Get it up in that marine layer and just let it die out there between Amarista and Venable. And we'll see if Amarista's okay. He's limping on.
Perfectly placed out there by Jake Lamb. He had a hit very similar to this in Colorado the other day. Dunked it between 4 Rockies defenders. That time Amarista takes the worst of it. But he's up and moving and back at his shortstop position, although walking very gingerly right now.
So a chance for the D-backs. Chris Owings, the 8th place hitter tonight, steps up. Bases loaded, 1 out. There's Venable in center. He'll shade over toward right center field for Owings. And once again, CO hacking at the first pitch. He's down 0-1. 232 and 2 homers for Chris. One out, pitcher spot due up next. Need a big base hit right here. '97, 0-2. Boy, Cashner, so far 25 pitches, only 4 balls. He is not messing around out there. And he's hit 98. CO just fights that one off. Seems like he spent the entire season down 0-2.
Well, you described that right. Just fight it off. 4-seam fastball running up and in. Oh, man, hits that about an inch above his hands. Fortunately, just pulls it foul down that third baseline.
Gary Cederstrom will give him a moment here. Alex and the pitcher on deck. Missed away at 98, 1-2. Peralta the runner at third. Yasmani Tomas at second. Jake Lamb at first. Faced a bad one there for the strikeout. 2 down.
Been kryptonite for Chris Owings all season long. Just the inability to recognize that slider when it's thrown on the outer third of the plate and sweeps out of the zone. Can't get to it, can't take it.
So it's up to the pitcher Hellickson now. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He has been something of a hitter up there this year, just under 230 for the season. Is there a philosophy, Bob, for you on pitching to a pitcher in these situations? Attack with hard fastballs or try and get him to chase goofy breaking balls? What's the best way to approach?
Well, the general consensus is the one pitch a pitcher can hit is a fastball. But Andrew Kashner's fastball is in a league of its own up there at 98. So I think you just pitch him like you would pitch any good hitter in this situation. You've got runners in scoring position. So you go with your best stuff right now.
He has been ahead all night long so far. This is Kashner's 5th 0-2 count in the ball game. 30 pitches, 25 strikes. Up the middle, off the mound, but Amarista's there, and he beats Lamb to the bag. Cashner leaves him loaded. And the Diamondbacks cannot take advantage. 3 singles in the inning, but no runs to show for it. They trail 2-0.
spot again for the Diamondbacks tonight. Reached on an error in the first inning with Paul Goldschmidt at the plate. And to break up a double play at second base, went in hard to Corey Spangenberg. No professional courtesy there. I've got a job to do, try to prevent that double play, and there was solid contact out there between Nick and Corey Spangenberg.
That's how they do it in East Longmeadow, Western
like
Massachusetts.
I like it.
They don't mess around. It's Mark Fidrich country out there. And Spangenberg will lead off the Padres second against Jeremy Hellickson. He was their big force in the lineup last night. 3 for 3, 2 stolen bases. He scored twice.
And you can be sure if he's on first base and somebody behind him hits a ground ball in a double play situation, he's going to go into second base hard and clean. That's the way you play the game.
Just over 250 on the year now, 2 homers. Last night, Spangenberg's 5th 3-hit game this year. Jake Lamb sneaks in on the grass a bit at third. Some blue sky finally clearing out overhead. First time we've seen that all day.
Yeah, that's another thing that used to be part of the advanced scouting report when you talked about a team first game of the series. Which guys are going to go into second base and try to knock you over the left field fence? Hal McRae, Bill Madlock. There was a lot of guys that looked forward to the opportunity to break up double plays. George Scott.
Well, the boomer. Well, he used to wear that sort of puka shell necklace around his neck, George Scott. And I remember Joe Garagiola asked him, "What's that made out of?" And he said, "Second baseman's teeth." It was a lot more physical back in the day than it is now. For the most part, Spangenberg swings at that one. It's exactly what you're trying to see from Jeremy with that changeup and curveball. That's the first out, his second strikeout. Wow, that has some drop.
Much better curveball now. Starting it in the zone, breaking it down to the bottom or down to the ground out of the strike zone, as opposed to hanging him up over the middle of the plate like he did in that first inning.
So here's Alexi Amarista. We saw him limping around in the outfield on that ball that Jake Lamb dropped in there. He looks like he's okay. Getting the start at shortstop tonight. Saw Clint Barmas there last night. And Amarista, 225, 2 homers. And a pair of hits and RBIs in their loss to the Giants on Thursday in San Francisco. The night off last night. Fastball's in there, and it's 1-1. The roller foul. One and two. Chip Hale's team trying to change their luck in this ballpark. Won only once in 4 games here so far this year. 1-2 pitch. Fastball elevated, got it into Chase, and Hellickson has now struck out 3 in a row. We're keeping an eye tonight on Hellickson's bat. He tweaked it, you'll recall, a little bit during this swing at the plate Sunday, and had to come out of the ball game after 6 innings. And the MRI was clean. First he got plunked in the hip, and then the swing on which he tweaked something in his back against Garces. The MRI was fine. He pitched a bullpen at Colorado this week. That went fine. But it is something to keep in the back of your head. Keep an eye out for tonight.
And this is the guy that hit him in the hip.
Payback.
I don't think pitchers think the same way position players do, although we'll see as this game moves forward here. He may have an opportunity at some point to repay the favor.
I think he said when he got hit by the pitch, which was not at all related, we're told, to the back tweak. It hit him right in the belt, which is a good spot, I guess, if you got to take one. As they hit 0-2. And one other thing that might help Jeremy tonight, because we had the off day on Monday, he is working on 1 extra day's rest. A punch out the side here in order. And he does. 4 consecutive strikeouts for Jeremy Hellickson. He strikes out the side in the second, but the Diamondbacks trail it 2-0.
I think what he felt was just probably I'm hoping was just the residual effects of getting hit in that spot and then swinging the bat. So, he'll probably take it easy swinging the bat today. Hopefully all he'll get is men on first and have to bunt him over.
Todd Walsh back here in San Diego. Pitching coach Mike Harkey chasing the story, Steve and Bob, of Jeremy Hellickson coming off that injury that he sustained. But the plan was maybe to take it easy at the plate, but not with bases loaded, 2 outs, down 2, right? He was doing everything he could to get on.
Yeah, tough spot when you're trying to, ease him through a start. He comes up bases loaded, 2 down against Cashner.
Yeah, and it took a great play by Amarista to get the force out at second base. It looked like a single into center field, maybe driving home a couple of runs, but Amarista took it away.
Nick Ahmed, who reached on an Amarista error in his first at bat, leads off the third and takes strike 1. Chip Hale told us today that Nick has been one of the Diamondbacks' better hitters as of late, and in the leadoff spot tonight. He's looking for some discipline from his leadoff guy, work the count. And Chip told us he believes that'll be a little easier for Nick against a guy like Cashner. Now, he's no picnic, but it's a little easier than last night against Tyson Ross with that big slider. And here's an odd coincidence here, BB. If you're at the Reno Aces game tonight and you're one of the first 1,000 people through the main entrance, guess what you're going to get? Nick Ahmed bobblehead tonight.
How about that?
At the Reno game.
In his Aces jersey.
Instead, he's here in the big leagues batting leadoff at Petco Park. It's a cool bobblehead there. Stays alive on the 0-2 pitch. If you're wondering about Nick in the leadoff spot, he's hitting better than 300 over his last 14 games. And his on-base percentage during that stretch is over 370, which with Ender Inciarte on the DL certainly qualifies Nick to get another look in the leadoff spot. And he is being patient up there. He's back even 2-2.
I wonder how the bobblehead bonanza pays off if the bobblehead day is actually a AAA and you're playing in the big leagues, because guys usually hit a homer on their bobblehead day.
Maybe the karma just floats up into the universe and transcends itself here to Petco Park. Good take right there, and it's full, 3-2. This is just the kind of at bat that Chip Hale was looking for from Nick Ahmed tonight.
Yeah, with each successive at bat like this, where you lay off those borderline pitches, even in a 2-strike count, it just keeps building that confidence. Your knowledge of the zone gets a little better and a little better.
Skies one to shallow center. Here comes Venable. Drifting over toward right center field. He's got it. That's the first out in the third. Good at bat there by Nick, though. Eight pitch at bat for Ahmed. One out. Here's A.J. Pollock.
When the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
A little more on lineup construction and talking with Chip Hale before the game. He said he really likes the idea of A.J. Pollock hitting in the 2-hole ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. So he's been able to drop him back down in there tonight. Bounces one in the hole. Solarte cuts it off. Strong throw, and he's got him 2 down. Nice play by the Padre third baseman there.
About 4 or 5 strong steps to his left, barely able to get to it full extension, and then fires one across to get Pollock at first base.
Here's Goldie. One oddity. He hit into a double play last night in his first at bat. Did it again here tonight. Trying to think of all the times we've seen Goldie hit into a double play this year. You could probably count them on one hand, but 2 and 2 nights so far in this series, and both in his first at bat. Wide strike zone there, 1-1. Pat Murphy, the Padres skipper. Dave Roberts, his bench coach. Good article in the New York Times by the great baseball writer Tyler Kepner over the weekend, talking about Murphy and trying to wake up a team that has slumbered through the first half of the year despite all their changes. Swings through that breaking ball, and it's 2-2. As Tyler Kepner said, that the Padres have been playing about as bland as their uniforms. Of course, that speaks to the brown and gold movement that's been lurking. This is well hit in the gap, and it gets down in right center field. It rolls all the way to the wall, and there's Goldie pulling it at second base with his 16th double. 4th hit for the D-backs tonight.
Middle of the plate fastball to Goldie, and he splits that gap in right center field perfectly. Short abbreviated swing we've grown so accustomed to, producing tremendous power.
David Peralta now, 2 down, and Goldie in scoring position. David singled his first time up. David last night, on a night when the Diamondbacks did very little offensively, really did have some good at-bats against Tyson Ross. He drew a pair of walks, and that coming off a good series for David at the plate at Coors Field. He went 5 for 11 versus the Rockies and scored 3 runs. Oh, and 2.
Kind of caught Derek Norris in between. He didn't know whether to catch that pitch fingers up or fingers down, and got caught in between and took it right off the heel of his mitt.
And 2 on Peralta. Corey Spangenberg, there is no shift on right now, but Spangenberg's kind of playing a one-man shift. He's out of your picture right there. He's so far back in right field at second base. There he is. In the dirt, 2-2.
The idea there, Spangenberg gives himself the most possible range to keep the ball out of right field should David Peralta hit one that direction. Anything that gets by Spangenberg into right, it's going to be a foot race between Goldie and Matt Kemp's arm in right field.
My money's on Goldie. The way he runs the bases.
Jumps that he gets, especially with 2 outs in an inning.
2-2. .98 in the dirt. Ooh. And it's full.
Catchers call that one a scud. Coming in there 98 miles an hour and spikes it in the dirt right off of home plate.
Gary Cederstrom thankful for the glove hand of Derek Norris back there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Goldie at second. Yanks it in the right field corner. That gets down for an RBI. David Peralta, the freight train, is on the tracks, and he rolls into second with an RBI double, his 14th of the year, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. A big two-out hit there by the D-backs left fielder.
Oh boy, David, stay hot in this ballpark. Singled back in the second inning leading off, and now an RBI double here in the third. Didn't get all of it, maybe a little bit toward the end of the bat, but got enough of it to chase Goldie home and put himself into scoring position for Yasmani Tomas.
Here comes the train leaving the station.
Get off the tracks.
That was another really good Diamondback at bat. Seen a few of them tonight. Yasmani Tomas singled his first time up. Peralta the tying run now in scoring position with 2 outs. Yasmani pulls the first pitch down the left field line, and here comes Peralta. 2-2 ball game, back-to-back 2-out doubles. Tomas is 12th of the year, and it's 2-2.
Once again for the D-backs offensively, all this happening with 2 outs in the inning.
3 straight doubles.
Not sure whether that was a slider that didn't take the break or just a nothing fastball on that inside part of the plate, but Yasmani was ready for it, whatever it was, ripped it down into that left field corner. Well, we've seen Yasmani recently in batting practice. When he first came to the Diamondbacks, everything was right field, working on hitting the ball to right field, maybe a few up the middle. But as he's gotten more comfortable, I was watching him today in his last couple rounds of BP, he was whirly-birding balls, trying to hit that second deck out there in left field.
Jared Saltalamacchia. 3 straight 2-out doubles have produced 2 runs to tie the ball game. Salty struck out his first time up. That's in the seats. And everybody got a little panicky, Bob, about Yasmani Tomas. As some of the media types. Well, he doesn't pull the ball. He doesn't look all that athletic. Well, we saw last night 2 great catches in right field. And as you mentioned, the bat has really come around. As the Diamondbacks insisted all along that it would.
He truly is one of those guys that you say you can't judge a book by the cover. We saw him in spring training. We saw him in the early going this season. And we didn't know if it was in him to hit the ball with power to left field, to range around in the outfield the way he has. But with each passing day, he's made a believer out of a lot of people.
That was the 25th pitch of this inning for Andrew Kashner, who had been very efficient up until this point. Got 2 quick outs to open up this inning. But Goldie, Peralta, Tomas all double, and here's Salty. That one misses. He's ahead now. 2 balls and a strike. Wonder if Kashner's flashing back to the second inning in his start on Sunday. A 23-pitch second, and the Diamondbacks had 3 singles. A 26-pitch third. They've had 3 doubles. Every time you take a shot at the Diamondback dugout, it's Goldie talking to a teammate about hitting. Turner Ward, the hitting coach. Reaches out and hits it right to Amarista. The backhander is there. But the D-back double train rolls along. Goldie, Peralta, and Tomas all in a row, all with 2 outs. Peralta and Yasmani the RBIs, and we are tied at 2 at Petco Park.
He's not afraid of failure. No fear of failure, whether he's hitting or outfield or third base or whatever. I mean, it's just, hey, I'll do my best. And he did a heck of a job at third base for us. And now he's back in the outfield where he belongs. And like I said earlier, I just wish I had him at spring training with us, and so we could have, worked on a lot of things we work on.
Just thought that was a fabulous comment from Dave McKay of the Arizona Diamondbacks, continuing the conversation, guys, about Yasmani Tomas. I know we were just talking about what he's been doing at the plate, but also in the outfield. You can't argue just how comfortable he looks in his own skin. Not having the fear of failure. Chip Hale following that up. Steve, I know you were down there talking about the great ones in any sport. All seem to have that quality, don't they? They're just not afraid to let it out there. Not afraid of failing because they know they'll get another shot.
Yeah, you're right. They have been raving about Yasmani's attitude. Kemp led off the Padres first inning with a double. He scored a run, and there's a strike against Hellickson.
And I have seen the effect that Dave McKay can have on mediocre or bad outfielders. I saw him work with Alfonso Soriano in Chicago and turned him into a pretty good outfielder.
Which was, you never would have thought would ever happen when you first watched him. Because he started out with the Yankees as a second baseman.
Right. You remember, he used to hop on balls in the outfield. Soriano did, and Dave McKay got a hold of him and turned him into an adequate, if not slightly better outfielder. And Yasmani Tomas has got a lot more to work with physically right now than Alfonso Soriano did at that stage of his career.
Those two catches in the right field corner last night, one in the alley and one in the corner, going in opposite directions. Boy, Kemp fans badly at that one, and that's 5 straight strikeouts for Jeremy Hellickson. He struck out Venable to end the first, got the side in order in the second, Spangenberg, Amarista, Cashner, and now he punches out Kemp to open up the third.
And you'd like to think he's found a good release point on that curveball. After hanging some of them up there in the middle of the strike zone in that first inning, he's thrown them at the bottom of the zone or in the dirt since then.
And Hervey Solarte grounded out his first time up against Jeremy. Jeremy's dad is here with us. He flew in from Iowa for the weekend. I met him walking around the ballpark.
How about that?
He said to say hello, by the way.
Right back at you, Mr. Hellickson.
So he watches all the time. Reaches down and lifts that in the air down the right field line, but it's in the seats. 0-2. Boy, Jeremy, 32 pitches, only 6 balls. He's got 5 strikeouts, has not walked a batter.
Another big crowd here tonight at Petco Park. I was out in the concourse before the ball game like you were. I didn't see Mr. Hellickson, but did see a lot of D-backs fans and a lot of fans, period, making their way into Petco Park tonight.
Yeah, it's a real good crowd here tonight. Just about 3/4 full. All the top levels full. And as you mentioned, Bob, a lot of Sedona red here for the weekend. Folks trying to escape the heat. Some are up in Flagstaff. Others are here. That's well hit into the corner and right. And one hops the wall. Yohan Hervey Solarte takes the turn, and he's in at second with his 15th double.
This is another good play. Pitch up in the zone, but watch Yasmani Tomas. That's an unusual angle right out there. They call it the Petco porch here at this ballpark, and you can chase that ball over in the corner and it will ricochet right past you along that warning track. Yasmani got over there. He realized the angle of that wall, immediately went back to the fence and cut that one off.
Yeah, you see how it just kind of juts out there right by the foul pole on the fair side, and it creates a couple of corners, and you're right, he played that really well. Yonder Alonso, an RBI single. He scored a run his first time up. Hit the first pitch he saw from Hellickson into the gap in right center. Here's a look at that one. It's strike one. Alonso's now hit safely in 6 straight games in 10 of his last 11. He's got it up to 325 on the year. Alonso missed all of May with a right shoulder bruise suffered against the Diamondbacks. Came back June 2nd. And since he's returned from the injury, he's really done well. He's hit just under 310 with 1 homer. Not a whole lot of power from him, however, this year. Hits this one a mile up in the air right to Yasmani. Solarte stays put. Tomas fires a throw all the way into third that backs Lamb up. A little reckless with that one.
It's been quite a turnaround in one night for Jeremy Hellickson. These are a couple of the curveballs he threw in that first inning. Held high, middle of the plate to Alonso. Same thing to Justin Upton, but then made an adjustment. And look at the location of these curveballs. Starting in the zone, bottoming out right on home plate, getting some swings and misses and some weak contact. Sometimes that opposing team just won't give you the luxury of settling in out there on the mound in that first inning, but Jeremy seems to have settled in with the curveball at least.
Yeah, that was the case. He gave up base hits to 3 of the first 4 batters he faced in the ball game, but has really settled in since. And now as they get the wave cranked up here at Petco, he'll work to Justin Upton with 2 outs and Solarte at second base. Upton singled his first time up. Justin Upton really slumping at the plate this month. He is hitting only .195 in June and has just 4 extra base hits for the entire month. It's been a rough month here for Jay Up.
Fans that were rooting for the Diamondbacks when Justin Upton was a member of the team, recognize what he's going through. He's always been a very streaky hitter. He'll get red hot for a couple of weeks and then disappear for a couple of weeks. But at the end of the season, you look up and the numbers are always right about where you expect him to be.
Funny, his feet, the way he stands right there with his feet wide apart, it's just like his brother in a lot of ways.
It's pretty much where the similarities have ended recently.
Exactly. Melvin Jr. not in the lineup tonight. How about that? Red hot in May, ice cold in June. And he's ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. There's his older brother. Melvin was in the lineup last night, got the start in center field, went 0 for 3. Ball 4. First walk issued by Jeremy Hellickson. So here comes Mike Harkey. It'll be 2 on and 2 out for the catcher, Derek Norris.
Hellickson during the course of that at bat to Justin Upton, he's kind of stretching that left hip area. We heard Mike Harkey talking about it earlier that maybe it was just a byproduct of the hit by pitch and he really felt it on the swing, but it's kind of interesting. Jeremy out there trying to keep it loose right in the middle of an at bat.
Had to leave the game after 6 innings in his last start after tweaking something in his back, and of course was hit on the hip in that start as well while he was at the plate. Norris, an RBI ground out his first time. Derek Norris, 20 doubles and 30 extra base hits. Very good in these situations. 20 doubles, 30 extra base hits. Second most by a Padres catcher before the All-Star break ever. Behind only Terry Kennedy back in 1982. Solarte is the runner at second. Justin Upton at first. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Location once again, right down there at the knees.
We've seen much better command from Jeremy as the season has gone on. He's walked more than 2 batters in a ball game, only twice in his last 12 starts. Pops him up. Nick Ahmed calling for it in shallow left. A big pitch there from Jeremy Hellickson. He strands 2 and keeps it tied 2-2.
D-backs history, June 27th, 2010, our Geico this day in Diamondbacks history. D-backs won their 1,000th game, a 2-1 victory over the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time, and Rodrigo Lopez was the winning pitcher.
I texted him during the commercial break. Smile. Did you see the cheesy look on his face when we came out of break? And he just texted me back. Smile, you mean like that? He is such a joy to have around on these road trips.
He's a lot of fun.
What a guy.
Yeah, he'll have that forever. The winning pitcher and the 1,000th victory in Diamondbacks history.
0-1 on Jake Lamb, who leads off the 4th inning. And it's a high fly ball to left center field. Justin Upton is there, and there's one away.
And incidentally, Justin Upton playing right field for the Diamondbacks that night had a single and a walk in that ball game. Gerardo Parr hit a 2-run homer to give the Diamondbacks their measure of victory. Yeah, Rodrigo was good that night. 6 innings of work, gave up only 1 run on 2 hits.
He was still throwing even as of last fall down to the Mexican leagues to pitch for Tomateros. Chris Owing struck out his first time. Jumps on the first one again. He's got a chance to get in the seats. Andrew Cashner has won only once in his last 12 starts. And his ERA over that span is a chunky 4.75. In fact, during his last dozen starts, the Padres have won only 3 times. He's ahead 1-2. Coming off a 28-pitch third inning. Called strike 3. 94-mile-an-hour fastball is in there, says Gary Cederstrom. And that's the third strikeout for Cashner.
Cashner, one of those high-velocity pitchers that can still get some movement. That was 94-mile-an-hour two-seamer, had just enough tailing action to get back to the corner.
You heard Chip Hale at the start of our broadcast tonight say, you know, it kind of feels like we're facing the same pitchers all the time. That's because we are. Yeah. And this is Cashner's 4th start this year against the Diamondbacks, and we're not even through June. In his 3 previous starts, he is 0-3, but for some weird reason, he's pitched to a 2.65 ERA in those 3 starts.
To take it a series ahead, the Diamondbacks are going to get the same 3 pitchers for the Dodgers that they've had the last couple of times.
Frias, right? Yeah. Anderson,
Bolsinger.
It's the same all the time.
We've missed Kershaw and Greinke every time we played the Dodgers.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Hellickson. D-backs begin tonight only 5.5 back of the Dodgers for the NL West lead. LA lost at Miami today 3-2. The Marlins beat Kershaw. He now has a losing record this season, Clayton Kershaw. He's 5-6. Lights that one off. So you've got Kershaw, who's got the losing record, and Mike Bolsinger is up there throwing BBs.
Bizarro world.
What's going on? What's the deal with that? That's in there for strike 3. 4th strikeout for Cashner. We are tied at 2 in San Diego. Brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. Petco Park, 2-2 bottom 4. Ken Crenshaw, the Diamondback trainer, Bob, checking out Jeremy Hellickson there between innings. Chip Hale, Ryan DePanfilo, the assistant trainer there as well.
It looks like they're talking about that same area we were talking about earlier, where Jeremy got hit by the pitch and then tweaked it on a swing, and he's been stretching out on the mound. He was stretching during his at bat there to end that top half of the inning. Certainly something to keep an eye on here moving forward.
And they did give him an MRI after he had to leave his start on Sunday. That came back fine. He did throw a bullpen at Coors Field this week. That went fine, we're told. But they are keeping a close eye on Jeremy. We've seen him stretch out there on the mound after he was hit in the hip by a pitch and then tweaked something in his back a few innings later. But he's out there for the fourth in a 2-2 ball game. It'll be Venable, Spangenberg, and Amarista 6, 7, and 8 for San Diego. Jeremy so far has walked one. He's got 5 strikeouts. And 5 strikeouts coming consecutively. He punched out Venable his first time. Talking about how familiarity may breed contempt to see the same pitchers all the time. Well, the same is true for the other guys. This is the 4th time this year that the Padres have faced Jeremy Hellickson. In fact, his second start as a Diamondback was right here at Petco Park, April 14th. Gave up 5 runs, 7 hits, 6 2/3. His next start versus San Diego, Chase Field, May the 8th, lasted less than 5 innings. And then he beat the Padres last Sunday in Phoenix and pitched very well. Mike Harkey. So it works both ways. Right by Jose Valentin at first.
And the way advanced scouting is now, and all the video scouting that players use and teams use against opponents, I don't think you can stay with the same thing. You know, if you've attacked this team with lots of sinkers and lots of changeups your first time, next time around you have to give them a little bit of a different look. Mix in a 4-seam fastball, mix in a curveball. Because they know what you've done to them in the past to get them out. They know what pitches were working, what wasn't working, and it's very fresh in their mind. So I think the next time out, you have to give them a little different look at the beginning of the game just so they feel like, man, we're off our reports here.
How hard is that if you've essentially got just 3 pitches like Jeremy does?
Well, just possibly the order in which you throw those pitches. Throw more first pitch changeups in one outing, then come back the next time and throw more first pitch fastballs.
Right back to the mound. The former Gold Glover has it. On away.
And the bottom line is, if you execute pitches and hit your spots, it doesn't matter if the batter knows what's coming. If you hit your spots, you're going to get weak contact.
As Chip Hale told us, Jeremy's changeup and curveball have really improved. And we've certainly seen that tonight. After that rocky first inning, he has settled in. There's the mix tonight.
And he's thrown his curveball is actually more than his changeup tonight so far.
Corey Spangenberg struck out his first time up. Yeah, Chip said after the start last weekend versus San Diego that he thought Jeremy's breaking ball was just superb. He was bouncing it, which is what you like to see because it means it's down. Hitters will often chase that pitch, and it's worked that way again tonight. Slaps that one toward the left field corner. Peralta can't quite get there. That's a fair ball. He can't find it. Spangenberg is in at second with his 8th double. Well, that's about as close to sneaking it in that corner as you can get and still keep it fair, especially for a left-hand hitter.
Boy, and there is not much room down in that left field corner. And David realizes that he is on a dead run over there. You can see the foul line and then the wall right there behind it. Fortunately, no damage. That ball bounced high in the air, stayed on the warning track, but Spangenberg stops at second base, and well, Now they're going to check on Spangenberg. Yeah, remember, Nick Ahmed blasted him pretty good breaking up a double play earlier in the ball game. Not sure if that's the reason for this visit by the training staff.
There's Pat Murphy, the new skipper.
I'll tell you what this is a guy like Spangenberg who runs so well, you would assume that he would at least be thinking about a triple on a ball rattling around down in the corner like that. But he just chugged into second base, content to stop there with the double, as you see that takeout slide earlier in the ball game.
Yeah, that was back in the first inning.
I mean, a guy that has good speed and hits a ball that you think might be a triple, and you see him pulling up at second base without even giving it a thought. He's limping there. I think he thought maybe that was going to be a foul ball, and then limps on into second base. And, you know, if I'm Pat Murphy, I expect to see Spangenberg halfway between second and third on that ball.
Yeah, he does not look like a young 24-year-old on that one who runs well. He looked more like Troy Tulowitzki that time.
Yeah.
But he's at second with one out for Alexi Amarista. Amarista struck out his first time up tonight. Alexi Amarista had a miserable May. He hit just over $160 last month, but he has bounced back nicely with a good June. He's hitting over .320 here. His playing time under Pat Murphy, not quite what it was under Bud Black. Murphy's tended to go more with Barmes and Solarte and guys like that here and there.
I think for Bud Black, Amarista was like the team mascot. He'd put him anywhere on the field. He'd play him in center field to start a ball game, bring him into shortstop, put him back out in center field later in the ball game.
Bud Black seemed to enjoy doing that.
Yeah, I think he really did.
Wasn't that much fun for us. 2-1. He's a bad one in the dirt. It kicks away from Salty, though. And Spangenberg moves up. Moving down there, not great. There's a wild pitch, a good example of Jeremy keeping that ball down in the dirt. But now you have to be careful with the go-ahead run at third. In fact, they're going to pinch run for him right here. I think Barmes is going to come in and run for Spangenberg, and that's it for Corey, who had a big night last night. 3 hits, 2 stolen bases. He scored twice, but he'll limp off the field here in the fourth. So the veteran Clint Barmes is at third now. 2-2 on Amarista, 1 away. Barmes got the start at shortstop last night, went 0 for 3, 3 fly ball outs. .60 pitches for Hellickson, 41 strikes. Dropped it in there, ring him up and sit him down. That's 6 strikeouts for Hellickson and 2 down in the fourth.
Backdoor breaking ball didn't quite get to the corner. We've seen Gary Cederstrom call that side of the plate wide all night long.
Curve ball and the changeup. Really been good lately. Cashner struck out to end the second his first time up. Slams it right at Peralta, who runs it down, and they strand Barmes at third. They are through 4, tied at 2 in San Diego. Communications is set to take you to a Diamondbacks game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox Solutions store at Tempe Marketplace, and you can enter for your chance to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You'll get a round-trip transport to the D-backs game on July 18th, but hurry up. Registration ends on July the 6th. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. Changes defensively for the Padres. Alexi Amarista moves from shortstop over to second base, replacing Corey Spanshenberg. And Clint Barmes, who came in to run for Spanshenberg, takes over at shortstop. Nick Ahmed will lead off the 5th. Diamondbacks and Padres 2-2. Hellickson and Cashner. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh here with you from Petco Park in San Diego. Nick so far 0 for 2. He has reached on an error and flied out. First one is knocked into right, a base hit for Ahmed.
Slashing swing of Nick Ahmed, takes a middle of the plate fastball and shoots it right by Yonder Alonso into right field for a leadoff hit.
And Ahmed in the leadoff spot for the second time this year. One reason why, as Chip Hale told us, he really likes A.J. Pollock in the 2-hole ahead of Goldie. A.J. so far 0 for 2. Ender Inciarte hurt, had to go on the DL, so that took A.J. out of this spot in the order for a bit. But this stretch here seemed to have reinforced that idea for Chip Hale, the idea that he prefers hitting A.J. second. And so if Nick Ahmed can give them some kind of leadoff presence here, we may see more of this lineup. There goes Nick Ahmed. They got him hung up, and he is out of there. Tried to get a jump on Cashner, who never did deliver the pitch, and Alonso throws him out at second.
That's an offensive weapon that has worked well for the Diamondbacks this year, but not this time. Andrew Cashner was wise to it, snapped that pickoff throw over to first as Nick was breaking for second base, and the relay from Yonder Alonso in time to get him. I mean, there's been at least a half a dozen, if not more, stolen bases this year where exactly that happened. The runner just took off while the pitcher was standing there, and on every occasion they went ahead and delivered the ball home.
And that's part of the familiarity we've talked about. When you see the same teams and the same pitchers over and over, everybody adjusts. And teams are getting used to the Diamondbacks being aggressive out there on the bases. And Cashner was ready for that one. Didn't flinch. Pollock bounces one to second. Amarista with a nice play to pick that one up. Pops up on the outfield grass and throws him out.
Just moved over from the shortstop position, but makes a nice running, sliding catch. Spins around with his back to the target and fires a strike for the out at first base. Pretty nice play.
So A.J. 0 for 3. Here's Goldie now with 2 outs. He has hit into a double play, doubled and scored a run. 1 for 2. So Goldie has now hit safely in 8 straight. The only Diamondback position player with a base hit last night. So far tonight, the D-backs have 7 hits. They've out-hit the Padres 7-5. 3 consecutive doubles, all with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Delivered both Diamondback runs. Goldie, Peralta, Tomas. All doubled with 2 outs. RBIs for Peralta and Yasmani. Goldie ahead 2-1.
That's the second time on this road trip that the Diamondbacks have had 3 consecutive doubles in an inning. They also did it against the Rockies, that middle game of that series against David Hale. Yasmani Tomas, Jake Lamb, and Chris Owings hit consecutive doubles.
Some of these big National League West outfields. Peralta would be next. Called strike 3. Gary Cederstrom rings up Goldie, who has a point to make here with the crew chief and plate umpire. Fifth strikeout for Cashner. Bottom 5 coming up. That looks like a pretty good pitch. We're still tied. Pretty good call by the plate umpire there.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the game. Cashner can get some movement even though he throws in the mid to upper 90s, and just had enough tailing action to get that one back to the corner. Probably looked way off the plate when it left his hand, but looked like it nipped the corner.
He's got 5 strikeouts. Jeremy Hellickson has punched out 6 Padres, including Matt Kemp his last time up. Hold still now. Kemp leads off the San Diego 5th. Kind of odd ceremony taking place out there. Got Kemp tied up and not so far. They all seem to be in a hurry to do this.
Well, it was Beer Fest last night, right? Not tonight.
Did it carry through the weekend?
It might have carried over.
I saw Todd Walsh wandering the streets of the Gaslamp District late into the wee hours last night. He managed to find him after that anyway. You know, I saw him here earlier. I don't know if this has anything to do with that or not. Oh, that's a rough at bat from Matt Kemp, and Jeremy Hellickson has 7 strikeouts through 4 and a third. This was Todd last night trying to give away a Gracie bobblehead. He's just wandering around. Selfies with the guys. They're falling off their bikes during Beer Fest.
Accidents.
Todd, well, what's going on here?
I don't know. My attorneys from the law firm of Cheatham and Jipham are on their way on I-8.
I use them. They're great.
Yeah, couldn't get a flight, though. I thought that was That looked like some sort of a scam by the guy that calls himself Superman.
I thought maybe you stuck a fungo bat in that guy's spokes there. That bike behind you, he took a tumble.
Like breaking away.
Yeah. Can't wait to turn in the receipts for that little journey.
Team Cinzano. Did you give away the Gracie bobblehead?
Yeah, right in the lobby of the hotel after we came back. And
so you didn't find a deserving winner in the streets, huh?
No. It's a little too costly on the pedicab.
So I've never ridden in one of these things.
Don't. No. I don't know how much is left of your per diem, but don't. And if you do,
what was the problem exactly?
Just make sure you agree to terms and get some sort of a signature before you depart.
He appears to be moving very quickly.
Felt like a lifetime, Steve.
And if I'm not mistaken, no seat belts, no helmets, no nothing. Right?
Oh no, I had to wear a seatbelt.
Oh, you had a seatbelt.
Yeah.
There's seat belts in those things?
Yes, yeah. Including when I tried to leave and pay the prearranged fee.
That wasn't enough, huh?
No.
Well, just run away from the guy. I mean, what's he going to do?
You're right. I should have. I don't know why I felt like I was stapled to a pedicab.
Now, who's this guy?
I don't know. He just jumped on. Listen, it got way out of hand.
Apparently.
We've turned the video over to all the proper authorities.
You're looking at it?
Yeah.
Homeland Security?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen Brian Henry, my producer, since that moment.
Now, what's going on there?
That was probably the highlight.
I'd say so. Solarte lines that one right to AJ, who just does corral it out there in center for the second out. So who ended up with the bobblehead in the lobby?
A couple of Scottsdale residents who just happened to be standing there and recognized us.
Nice.
Maybe it was the camera and the mic flag at midnight, but they were delighted. They were stunned when we opened the package, and it was the 2001 quote-unquote junk bobblehead. Mark Grace. You got to come hang out at the garage.
That's
Bob.
Gracie's word, isn't it?
No. It's Bob.
Bob, that's BB's contribution. Yonder Alonso.
Oh.
Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. He swings through that one.
Usually when you turn a TV light on that late at
That's
night,
it.
people go scurrying to the corners, but they like moths. They just came to you.
I said that at one point, I think. Yeah.
Friday night in the Gaslamp District in San Diego during Beer Fest. Now, I guess actually at the tail end of Beer Fest, which is the ideal time.
Okay.
This morning was Hangover Fest.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I've come up with a foolproof system for navigating all this stuff. Hotel, ballpark, hotel.
There you go.
Solid.
The ceremony is still taking place out there in the outfield. I have to find out what's going on out there.
Where is that exactly? Do you know?
We can find out for you.
It looks like, I'm going to guess right center.
All right. Well, I got to run.
Yeah, it's above the out-of-town
Oh, yeah, there you
scoreboard
go.
over
Okay.
there.
Second level.
Right over. Okay. Listen, guys, I got to go.
Okay.
I'll.
Apparently there's a sorority event out there.
Oh, good.
Assuming Todd survives the night, he'll have Diamondback Live postgame show.
I'm going to go get my face painted.
I want to see you wearing blue and white under your eyes by the
Okay.
end of the seventh inning.
I'm on my way.
There's no telling where this may lead. Alonso shoots it the other way. It backs up Peralta on the track at the wall. He won't get it, and it's in the seats. Yonder Alonso, his second hit tonight, his ninth double.
He may not be hitting for a lot of power since that shoulder injury, but man, this kid can hit. I'll tell you what, I've said it before, I think he's going to contend for a batting title at some point in the future if he can stay healthy. Foul line to foul line approach. Tends to barrel the ball up more frequently than anybody else in this lineup.
That's just his 12th extra base hit all year. He's in scoring position, 2 down for Justin Upton, who has singled and walked.
We were talking last night about inning management. For Jeremy Hellickson, he walked Justin Upton in a similar situation back in that third inning, and possibility that could happen again here. Pitching around him, trying to get him to chase something like that.
He strikes out a ton.
Yeah, if Upton goes ahead and chases some of those borderline or bad pitches, then you go ahead and try to get him out. But if you fall behind in the count, you don't really care if you walk him. You go after Derek Norris, the guy in the on-deck circle, who retired twice in this game.
And Norris has an RBI ground out. He popped up to end the third his last time up after they pseudo-pitched around Upton. And Upton has struck out a lot lately, 12 times in his last 26 at-bats. Saltalamacchia keeps that one in front. Alonso stays put. You can see that wrist he's got wrapped up. He's just been plagued by hand and wrist injuries the last 2 years. And has to be very careful.
He wears that to protect his wrist from what we saw Goldie doing in Colorado, dragging that right wrist behind him as he goes into his slide. I'm sure that's the reason for that brace, to keep him from doing that.
Ellickson behind, 2 balls and a strike. Got to be careful here. Three and one. This is just what you were talking about.
Yeah, throw a 2-1 curveball right there and miss down low and away in the strike zone. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come right back with the same pitch again. Maybe a changeup in the dirt. Whatever you throw, make sure if you miss in your favor. Don't leave it over the heart of the plate.
80 pitches, 54 strikes. In there. Strike 2, full count. 3-2, 2 outs.
Tailing fastball, very similar to the strike 3 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Either hit the outside corner or miss farther away, and that time Jeremy put it right on the corner.
Fly ball, right field. Yasmani Tomas at the wall, and it's off the top of the wall and gone, a home run. Justin Upton is 14th, and the Padres take a 4-2 lead. That's Upton's 7th career home run against the Diamondbacks.
Like Jeremy tried to put a little extra on that fastball, left it up and out over the plate. And Upton gets just enough off the top of the fence and on out.
It's the 3rd time, I think, this month we've seen that happen to a Diamondback pitcher. Upton just his 5th extra base hit this month. And it's a big one, 4-2 Padres, and still some work to do here with Derek Norris up. Norris 0 for 2.
I think Jeremy's heart trumped his head that time. He had a 2-strike count, and he'd been working him tough, nibbling around the edges, bouncing pitches in the dirt, hitting the outside corner. He got to that 2-strike count and said, boy, if I put just a little bit extra on this fastball, maybe I could blow it right by him. But he put it in a bad spot, and Upton hit it to the opposite field. I mean, his head was probably telling him, bounce a curveball, throw a changeup in the dirt. But his heart said, I can get him. I can sneak this fastball by him. Just left it up a little bit too much.
An opposite field home run in this ballpark on a heavy night like this. Pretty impressive. 0-2. He punches out Norris, his 8th strikeout, but Justin Upton, 14 home runs this year. 11 of them have come in this ballpark. And he makes it 4-2 Padres through 5. right on the monitor in here.
Jeez.
Looking up some stupid stat, all of a sudden the bird lands on the computer.
You wanted to check your scorebook there, make sure you had all the totals right. I got to say, I've never seen that one before.
Oh, boy.
Came right in, made himself at home.
Sure did. Well, I'm sure Andrew Kashner feeling a little more at home here with a 4-2 lead as we start the 6th inning. David Peralta. Yasmani Tomas and Jared Saltalamacchia due up. The bird was a lot calmer than I was.
Yeah. It was actually a dove, and in season that dove wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds in this booth.
I need Andrew Chafin's slingshot.
Yeah, there you go. Andrew was pretty proud of that slingshot.
Apparently it was accurate up to 60 feet, which is more than you can say for some pitchers. Sky high pop up. Amarista.
Well, as Yasmani Tomas makes his way to the plate, let's take a look at our Valley Honda key to the game. Now, Andrew Kashner lost on Mother's Day to the D-backs. He lost on Father's Day, so we had to look up what holiday it was today, and the best we could come up with was National Orange Blossom Day. So hopefully another holiday for Andrew Kashner to lose to the Diamondbacks.
I believe that was a really good song, wasn't it? The Orange Blossom Special? Yeah. Was that a Johnny Cash song? Yasmani Tomas, 2 hits, a single, a double. He's got an RBI. Clint Barmas. By the way, we have news on Corey Spangenberg, who had to leave the ball game. The reason Barmas is in there, it's a sprained left knee for the Padres second baseman.
Now, this is the play that happened earlier in the ball game at second base. Nick Ahmed going in to break up a double play, and you could see the hyperextension of that left knee ever so slightly, but Spangenberg limped off the field then and continued to limp around the field the rest of the ball game.
Shift is on for Salty, who's 0 for 2. Here's Nick. That's how they do it at UConn. Bird is back. Another sky high pop up headed toward foul ground. Barmas over there. And Kashner has retired 5 in a row. A 6-pitch sixth for the Padres starter, who leads it 4-2. At Chase Field, Saturday, July 18th. The Diamondbacks welcome Luke, Leah, the whole gang For the D-backs and Giants and 20,000 fans, they'll get this A.J. Pollock Star Wars Jedi bobblehead, courtesy of Cox Communications. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Will Venable leads off the Padres 6th. Bullpen is getting busy for the Diamondbacks, but Jeremy Hellickson at 85 pitches still out there. Venable 0 for 2. A ball and a strike. Scoop by Salty. Venable not hitting really in this ballpark this year. Batting just over 220 at Petco. 4 of his 5 home runs have come on the road. Two and two, a nice catch out there. Now those numbers home road for Venable a little off because he was a guy that really seemed to benefit from moving the fences in right field a couple of years ago. You see that black Jack Daniels sign. That's used to be the outfield fence. And they created all that new seating, moved the fences in, lowered them a bit. And Venable really made that work for him earlier in his career. He rolls one into left for a base hit. Aboard to lead off the 6th for Clint Barmas.
Even with the limited playing time he's had this year, Venable always a threat to steal. Has really good speed. 6 out of 7 so far this season in limited playing time.
Randall Delgado getting loose. Mel Stoudemire Jr., the bullpen coach down here. First at bat tonight for Barmas, who checked in when Corey Spangenberg had to leave with a left knee sprain. Barmas 0 for 3 last night. He's at 283 on the year. Venable will run on you. He's 6 for 7 in his stolen base attempts this season.
Barmas is a guy that in the past has been used as a hit and run guy when he was playing in Pittsburgh, depending on where he was hitting in the order and who was on base in front of him. He's a guy that the manager likes to use to play hit and run with.
The 0-1. Venable holds. That one misses away. And they'll get the wave cranked up again in right center. And it's coming around. Let it wash over you, Bob. Venable on the run. Sure enough, hit and run. There it is. He dunks it into right. And Venable's in at third. Well executed by the Padres there. You called it, BB.
You watch enough baseball games and you see enough of a guy and you kind of get a feeling for what might happen. Good speed on first base, good handler of the bat at the plate, just screamed out for a possible hit and run, and they executed perfectly right there.
And here comes Mike Harkey to the mound. Hellickson at 93 pitches. Delgado warming up for the bullpen. Amarista will be the hitter with 2 on and nobody out. Pitcher spot behind him. Cashner is in the on-deck circle. Let's go out now to our intrepid reporter. As promised, Todd Walsh has made his way up to our our sorority sisters. What in the world is going on up there?
I am with, I am with the newest baseball fan, Meg. Is it O'Riordan?
O'Riordan?
And where are you from, Meg? Tell everybody back in Arizona.
I'm from Dublin.
Of course you're from Dublin. So is this whole crew from Ireland?
Huh?
The whole crew up here? You guys
We're all from Ireland.
You're all. I've been dying to ask you this. Do you come here often?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I guess I do.
So you guys are all working here in San Diego for the summer?
All working here in San Diego, trying to get jobs as much as we can.
And you're enjoying the moment. The blue and the white face paint. What was that? We caught you applying that on camera. What are you doing with that? Or why?
We're just supporting the Padres.
And this is the first time. Can you hold up that bag of Cracker Jacks? This is the first time you've ever had Cracker Jacks, right?
I didn't know what Cracker Jacks were, so I bought Cracker Jacks. So.
Okay. As any baseball fan would, right?
They're not great, but they're American, so I love them.
Have you been to the Temple Bar in Dublin?
Yeah, I have an apartment there.
Of course you do. And you've met Bono, right?
Yes, I have met Bono.
One of the great people in the world.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here before it gets really dangerous. Security's already making their way. I want you guys to enjoy yourselves up here, okay?
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, it's great to meet you, Meg. O'Riordan, right?
Yes, Meg O'Riordan.
From Dublin. We'll never forget you. Have a blast, guys.
Thank you, Todd.
Alrighty. Steve, we got to the bottom of it.
Nice work.
Got to go.
From Bono to Todd Walsh.
I have it now.
He's on a first name basis with a girl from Scotland.
So the Irish is up here in the seats at Petco Park. Amarista needs a new stick, it looks like. Nice work by Todd to get up there. They seem into it.
Supporting their Padres. Yeah.
Look, you going to eat those? That's the last we'll ever see of Todd Walsh.
Todd's done for the night.
0-2. Gonna hook a brother up. First and third, nobody out. 1-2 on Alexi Amarista. High fly ball, shallow left. Ahmed and Peralta. It'll be Peralta. Venable was halfway down the line. He'll scamper back to third. And that's the first out in the bottom of the sixth. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. Series finale tomorrow. We'll have it for you on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondback Line pregame show. Assuming Todd Walsh survives the evening. Comes your way at 12:30. Chase Anderson and Odrisaner Despaigne.
As we speak, Despaigne is trying to figure out new pitches.
He's got 12 of them.
I hold it with my little finger and my index finger and put my thumb on the side of the ball and throw it underhanded. What will it do? He's liable to invent pitches out there on the mound tomorrow.
Well, Cashner will take the at-bat here. Todd looks like he's doing pretty well out there. How you doing? They're on the corners with one out, and the pitcher up. Goldie crashes, pops that one over the backstop.
Not a suicide squeeze. Venable was not coming down the line at third. That was just a safety squeeze. If he gets the bunt down in fair territory and Venable thinks he can score, only then does he break for home plate.
Glenn Hoffman coaching at third. An 0-1 count on Cashner, who was 0 for 2. Barmes at first. Goldie broke in to guard against the bunt. Barmes sort of broke toward the second base bag, and Hellickson just stepped off the rubber.
That's a smart thing to do. Occasionally that first baseman will break just a tick before you're ready for him to, and of course that frees up that base runner to break for second.
Here comes Goldie. Wants it toward the third base side. Hellickson coming home, and Venable is in there. 5-2 Padres.
About as nice a play as you can make by Jeremy Hellickson. Got to the ball quickly, bare hand, shovels it on to Jared Saltalamacchia. We talked about Venable's speed when he was on at first, and he was streaking down that third baseline. Just does get in before the tag of Jared Saltalamacchia.
And that's going to do it for Jeremy Hellickson. Chip Hale's had Randall Delgado throwing in the bullpen. And he leaves after 99 pitches. That has scored a single and an RBI. Padres lead at 5-2. Back after this. Comfort of Chase Field for the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. 7-10 game. After the ball game, we'll open up the roof for the post-game fireworks spectacular presented by Gila River Casinos. You can get your 4th of July tickets right now at dvax.com. We're in San Diego, bottom 6. Jeremy Hellickson's night has come to an end here, but he's responsible for 2 base runners. Padres lead at 5-2. Matt Kemp coming up. And the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the right-hander, Randall Delgado. We've got Clint Barmas at second base, the pitcher Andrew Kashner at first. Kemp doubled and scored in the first inning. He has struck out his last 2 times up, 1 for 3.
Of Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate, shaking out that right hand. Oh man! The band-aids on the finger don't do much to deflect the foul tip.
1-1. It's in the seats. Matt Kemp had a pretty good start to his Padres career. You go back to May 1st, his batting average was .330 for the season. However, since then, in just over 50 games, he's hit just .202. The production has just not been there. He has homered for his only hit against Delgado.
Yeah, 11 at bats. That was the second at bat he had ever faced Randall Delgado when he hit the home run. He's 0 for 9 since.
Base hit. They will wave Clint Barmas. He'll come in and score. The throw is cut off, and it's 6-2 San Diego. And run charge to Jeremy Hellickson.
Actually got fooled by that pitch, but managed to extend his swing. Got just enough of it to bump it out there into left field. Barmas will score easily. Cashner stops at second base.
Brings up Yangervis Solarte. Cashner, the pitcher, is at second, and Kemp at first. Solarte doubled in the third. He's 1 for 3. To Goldie and right by him. It gets through into the right field corner. Here comes Cashner. The throw from Tomas is cut off, and it's 7-2 Padres. Their 5th hit in this inning.
Screened somewhat by Matt Kemp taking his lead off first base there, kind of slow reacting to that smash that got by him into right field for an RBI base hit.
That was hit very hard. And now the run the corners for Alonso, still only 1 out. Kemp at third, Solarte at first. Alonso 2 for 3, a single, a double. He has scored twice. First pitch popped up, drifting near the seats, left field side, and it's out of play. Take a look at our T-Mobile game-changing player, Yonder Alonso. He's hit safely now in 6 straight games and 10 of his last 11, but during the 6-game hitting streak, he's hitting over 400. And that BABIP, batting average on balls in play, 500. Half the time he hits it into play, it drops in for a base hit during this streak.
Would you say that BABIP that you're talking about is really a measurement of how lucky you are?
That's why it's designed, actually, because oftentimes you'll have a guy who has an abnormally high BABIP. It's designed to sort of quantify luck. Can they turn 2 here? Nick Ahmed does indeed. A nice turn by the Diamondbacks shortstop. But the Padres, after a 2-run 5th, get 3 in the 6th, and they lead it 7-2. Arizona is brought to you in part by Oregano's Pizza Bistro, your neighborhood pizza joint. We are athletic supporters. By Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. And by Bud Light, stay in the game and drink responsibly. Gaslamp District in downtown San Diego. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, somewhere out there, Todd Walsh, perhaps. As we start the 7th at Petco Park, 7-2, the Padres lead the Diamondbacks. A really promising start. Went south quickly on Jeremy Hellickson, who's charged with 7 runs all earned on 10 hits in 5 1/3. After he had looked so good for mostly 4+ innings. He had 1 walk, he had 8 strikeouts. But the Justin Upton home run in the 5th opened up a can of worms. Padres 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. They lead at 7-2. They have out-hit the Diamondbacks 12-7. And the homer for Upton is 14th of the year. Jake Lamb leads off the 7th. He singled in the 2nd, 1 for 2. Padres have the shift on for Jake Lamb. Left-hand side is wide open. He pulls it foul right in front of Dave McKay at first. It's been 15 games now since Jake Lamb has returned from that foot injury, and he has not hit. Adding just over 170 since coming off the DL, only 2 RBIs.
And a lot of it for Jake has been pitch recognition. Just saw him swing at a high fastball right there, probably out of the strike zone up. So against Tyson Ross, 2 starts in a row, chase that slider down and in repeatedly, just not picking up the spin on the ball, not recognizing what's a strike and what's not a strike yet.
He was hitting over 400 when he went down with that stress reaction in his left foot and missed 42 games. Josh Colementor started throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. 1-2 pitch is hit into the shift and right through it for a base hit for Jake. He's 2 for 3.
We saw Nick Ahmed in that first inning break up a double play at second and ended up chasing Corey Spangenberg out of the game with a sprained knee. And we speculated that if the Padres had a chance to go after Nick, they would. And Hervey Solarte went way out of his way to the outfield side of second base, but he's the one that came up limping.
He practically took a right-hand turn there. Chris Owings has struck out twice, 0 for 2. Danny Dorn is in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot coming up next. So Dorn will hit for Delgado when it looks like we'll see Josh Colementor in the bottom of the 7th. Bob Cashner had that rocky 2nd and 3rd. He gave up 3 singles to a span of 4 batters against the Diamondbacks in that 2nd. And then in the 3rd, the 3 consecutive 2-out doubles. But since the Tomas double with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, he's given up only 2 hits, both singles. And he's got 5 strikeouts tonight, has not walked a batter. Facing the Diamondbacks for the 4th time this season so far, he is 0-3 against them.
You see that 2nd and 3rd inning, Diamondbacks really made him work hard, threw a lot of pitches in those 2 innings, but has been very economical otherwise.
Chris Owings giving him a battle here. D-backs beat Andrew Cashner here at Petco Park April 13th. He had 9 strikeouts in 6, but the Diamondbacks won that game 8-4. so far against the D-backs this year, including tonight. Cashner has 25 strikeouts against only 3 walks. Double play ball here. Barmes will take it himself. Two down now for Danny Dorn. Danny 5 for 25 this year, his first action in the big leagues. As a 30-year-old rookie, he'll be 31 next month. And 3 for 11 as a pinch hitter this year. California native from Diamond Bar, played at Cal State Fullerton. That's one thing about Danny's tenure with the Diamondbacks. It's funny, you know, he's from California. Every time we see him, we're in a California ballpark. Dodger Stadium, Anaheim, San Diego. Makes it convenient for the family. Cashner 100 pitches, 71 strikes.
Like a direct hit that time on Derek Norris behind the plate. Boom. Chin. Just give me another ball. Your ears will stop ringing about the middle of November.
Two on his right by him. Danny sends his latest call up from AAA Reno, 2 for 16 at the plate. Shoots it down the left field line, but it's in the seats and out of play.
Well, maybe it's because he spent so much time in the minor leagues, but Danny Dorn, whether he has success or not, he's never really looked overmatched at the plate.
No,
We talked about that when he first came up. You know, he drew a walk in his very first major league at bat. I mean, most guys are swinging when they leave the on-deck circle, just ready to hack at anything close to the plate. Like that.
He waves at that one. 6th strikeout for Cashner. Stretch time at Petco Park. The Diamondbacks trail the Padres 7-2. Alex Morgan and Team USA take on the Germans with a trip to the final on the line. Coverage begins Tuesday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, only on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We're into the semis in the Women's World Cup. Gila River game summary from Petco Park in San Diego. Padres in the middle innings here, opening up. And it's 7-2 as they bat in the home half of the seventh. Justin Upton will lead it off against the new pitcher, Josh Clemente. Numbers on Josh this year, trying to find his way back. Justin Upton has singled, walked, and homered. I don't think I can remember a series when we've played either the Braves or the Padres the last couple of years when he has not hit a home run. How about this? Opposite field on a heavy night in San Diego. Jeremy Hellickson tonight charged with 7 runs, all earned on 10 hits and 5 1/3. Jam shot fly ball to short left. Peralta's there. That's the first out. And the numbers on Jeremy don't look great, but boy, he pitched really well for most of the start tonight. Just got away from him late.
Gets back to those timely hits. You know, we talked about it with the Diamondbacks offense last night. They had traffic on the bases. They just couldn't seem to come up with that big base hit they needed when they needed it the most. And tonight the Padres were able to do that against Jeremy Hellickson.
And Jeremy at one point struck out 5 straight Padres. Here's Derek Norris. Another fly ball to short left. One more time for Peralta. Brings up Will Venable. And as Ted Leitner always says on the mighty 1090 here, Will Venable. We'll find out. The great Ted Leitner broadcasting just to our left here on Padre Radio. Venable singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 3. Chip Hale, when they announced Josh Clemente's move from the rotation to the bullpen, did not say it was going to be permanent. There was ambiguity about it. Let's see how Josh responds. Venable knocks that one into right. He's 2 for 4. But Josh was pretty candid about the reality of the situation. He said, look, if the current Diamondback pitchers who are in that starting rotation do what they're supposed to do, and for the most part they have been, then he said he doesn't really expect to get back to starting again, certainly anytime in the near future. And the talent pool is only getting deeper. Patrick Corbin is due back very soon. Here's Clint Barnes. I figure one more minor league rehab start for Patrick. They're not sure where or exactly when, for that matter, 5-6 days from now. And then after that, it's back to the big leagues after his Tommy John surgery. And you've got Aaron Blair, who's been pitching really well at AA Mobile, just moved up to AAA Reno. He's on a fast track. Jhoulys Chacin has had a couple of very good starts at AAA, the former Rocky. So there's a lot of organizational depth there. That's a fair ball down the left field line. It caroms off the wall, and Venable is flying into third. It's a double for Barmes. This was Patrick Corbin, the 8th double for Barmes last night for the Bay Bears, and the numbers were very good. And part of this has been building that arm strength and that shoulder strength back up, because the numbers so far for Patrick have been okay. But the issue was he was getting tired 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, just frankly not used to throwing the baseball in the game, so that's going to be part of it.
Yeah, putting up good numbers, very reassuring, and you'd rather have him pitch well than not pitch well, but the bottom line is, how does he recover? How does he feel the next day and then the day after? How does he feel in his next side session? And you want to just continue on that upward climb, build more arm strength, use all your pitches a little bit more. We talked about it before. He may even go through a dead arm period like pitchers do in spring training every year, but taking the steps necessary to get himself back in the rotation up here at the big league level.
David Hernandez doing well off Tommy John surgery. Fly ball right center. Amarista flies out to Pollock, and that ends the 7th. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. We'll see Goldie in the Diamondback 8th. Look at the Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights. That's the end of Andrew Cashner's night. And on in relief to pitch the 8th inning for the Padres, a name that'll be familiar to Diamondback fans. It's Marcos Mateo. Just his 3rd appearance for San Diego this year. He was drafted by the Diamondbacks from the Cubs in the Rule 5 draft after the 2013 season, but was returned to the Cubs last March. He was granted free agency, signed with the Padres in January, and here he is.
Big arm, 6 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work at the major league level this time. Pitching for AAA El Paso, had a 2-0 record with 9 saves, an ERA of 186.
Nick Ahmed, the leadoff man tonight, leads off the 8th. Andrew Cashner, his final line is in. 2 runs, both earned. He gave up 8 hits in 7 innings. Did not walk a batter and had 6 strikeouts. A bumpy 2nd, a rocky 3rd. Other than that, Cashner was pretty much dominant. In fact, after the Tomas double, with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, he gave up only 2 hits, both singles. 2-0 on Nick Ahmed, who singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
Until his recent recall by the Padres, Mateo had not pitched in the big leagues since almost 4 years ago. Back in July of 2011 was the last time he pitched in the big leagues.
That's behind the screen and out of play. Well, the Diamondbacks just not having any luck at all in this ballpark this year. If they drop this one tonight, they'll have won just once in 5 games at Petco Park.
Marcos Mateo pitched quite a bit for the Cubs when I was working there in Chicago, and he was a puzzling guy. He would come in from the bullpen to throw his 8 warm-up pitches on the mound, and he was throwing 100. Everything in the strike zone, down low, very calm, cool, and collected, under control. As soon as the batter stepped into box, he started flying all over the place like he's doing tonight. Lost command of the strike zone, fell behind in counts, became very hittable, and that was before his hat turned sideways.
Well, he's getting another chance here with San Diego. Big guys that throw hard get a lot of chances.
Yes, they do. Everybody thinks they're the one that can fix it. Darren Balsley's had a pretty good run of success fixing relief pitchers.
You betcha, the Padre pitching coach here. A.J. Pollico for 3. A.J. threatening to have that average drop under the 300 mark. Started the night at 304, top 10 in the league. CenturyLink, your link to what's next, has our Diamondback Live postgame show after the ball game, assuming that Todd Walsh is not relocated to Ireland. A roller to third, Solarte has it. There's some bad news for baseball fans everywhere today. Giancarlo Stanton, a broken hamate bone in the Marlins game against the Dodgers, and he's out 4 to 6 weeks. You can see him doubled over in pain. This is the same injury that Oscar Hernandez has, the Diamondbacks' Rule 5 catcher. But Stanton's going to be out at least a month.
Boy, that is bad news. Everybody was looking forward to seeing Giancarlo Stanton at the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby before the All-Star game, and that's just not going to happen now.
Neck and neck in a lot of offensive categories with Goldie, who's up there right now. The MLB All-Star game coming up next month. Only on Fox. Baseball's best gather in Cincinnati. July 14th. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Yeah, you imagine getting a look at Stanton hitting in that ballpark. Hit some to Kentucky. Goldie will be there. Rolling away with the vote totals at first base in the National League, but he strikes out for the second time in 2 at bats. Bottom 8 on the way. Diamondbacks trail at 7-2. Enjoying A little Top Gun music that they play between the top and bottom of the 8th inning here at Petco Park. They do a little danger zone. And that is the danger zone here tonight.
I'm afraid so. We haven't heard from Todd since he went out there. We just hope he's okay. About to send out a search party.
Talk to me, Goose. Brett Wallace will hit for Mateo. Pitcher spot leads off the Padre 8th against Josh Colminter. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Has anyone heard from Todd? Wallace pops that up into short right. Owens is out there. I'm not sure we'll have a post-game show. I'm sure we'll have it. I don't know who will host it.
Yeah.
May have to get you.
To get the Gracie bobblehead to host the post-game show.
Have to get Gracie.
Or the pedal cab driver. Or maybe, what was her name? Meg?
Yeah, those are, it looks like, speaking of the Women's World Cup only on Fox, that looks like a World Cup match out there. Our group of friends from Ireland who are at their first baseball game eating their first Cracker Jacks.
Soccer hooligans.
They may have had a beverage or two. It's hard to tell. And they've got some soccer chants going out there. Matt Kemp, a single, a double. He's got an RBI. He scored a run. Having a good time out there. Way up there on the upper deck in right field. Just about where Kemp hits this one. And it bounces foul. Have you ever been to a soccer match? Uh-oh. I think I hit a nerve.
Your kids playing?
No, I mean a legit big time. Because I've been to a bunch. Well, not a bunch. I've been to 4 in England. And they do that the entire game. English fans, Irish fans, Scottish fans. And it is really fun. They chant, they sing, they really have a great time. It's really cool. If you ever get the chance to go to England, go to a Premier League match, it's really fun.
We got fireworks going off somewhere near the ballpark. I hope we have fireworks going off somewhere near the ballpark.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch. Bouncer to third. Jake Lamb has it. He throws out Kemp. Now Henry Solarte. As Colminter on for his second inning of work tonight. Diamondbacks have been out hit 14-8. They trail at 7-2. Yeah, we got a big fireworks show going on somewhere just outside the ballpark. I don't see anything in the sky, but you can hear it. Base hit for Solarte. Dumps it into right center. AJ to cut it off, and Solarte has his third hit tonight. Kevin Quackenbush out there in the Padre bullpen with Willie Blair, Padres bullpen coach. Yonder Alonso, a single, a double. He's got an RBI. He scored twice. And the Diamondbacks have the shift on.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Is this any way to treat your former family? Justin Upton in his career, 24 games against the D-backs, hitting .341, 7 homers, 19 driven in. He scored 19.
Alonso shoots it out to left center, and David Peralta recovers and makes the catch. He almost overran that. It might have slipped and almost lost his footing, it looked like, but David hangs on and makes the grab. Yikes! We go to the 9th in San Diego. Seen Marcus Mateo and now Quackenbush in relief of Andrew Kashner, who gave up only 2 runs on 8 hits in 7 innings. Did not walk a batter and had 6 strikeouts. 21st appearance of the year for Quackenbush at 2.95 ERA.
Yeah, Quackenbush was a pretty nice piece for Bud Black last season. Pitched in 56 ball games, a 3-3 record, 2.48 ERA. 20 games already this season.
David Peralta, Yasmani Tomas, and Jared Saltalamacchia 4, 5, and 6 due up in the Diamondback 9th. They trail at 7-2. Peralta's had a good night. He singled in the 2nd, had an RBI double, and scored a run in the 3rd. He's 2 for 3. And the Padres have the shift on the right-hand side. David is due for a home run. Long ball coming soon. His last homer May 29th at Milwaukee. So it's been 23 games. So he's due to blast one pretty soon here.
Well, a home run would be nice, but right now the Diamondbacks need a boatload of base runners this inning. Start to put some pressure on this Padres pitching staff and defense. Another third of the plate up there around the belt.
That would have been one to hit a homer on for a left-hand hitter, certainly. 2-2. Series finale tomorrow afternoon. Chase Anderson and Odrisamer Despaigne. Diamondback Live pregame show at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. And then it's back home for a 3 against the Dodgers. There's Chase. Alan Webster, who's just next to Chase right there, will pitch the opener at Chase Field Monday against Mike Bolsinger, who, with Clayton Kershaw having a losing record this year, may be the Dodgers' ace.
Just rolls off your tongue, doesn't it?
Sure. Ruby De La Rosa, Carlos Frias on Tuesday. Robbie Ray, Brett Anderson has been really good on Wednesday. Called strike 3.
Some umpires are wide all over the place. Other guys are consistently wide on one side or the other. And Gary Cederstrom has been consistently wide away from the lefties tonight.
There's Manny Tomas, a pair of hits. There's the crew chief working the plate tonight. Can't catch up to that one. Well, I've noticed a little more buzz in the ballpark this weekend. A good crowd here again tonight. Just under 41,000. And many of them from Ireland. They're having a great time. They made all those changes in the offseason, and ticket sales did spike. I mean, they saw a reaction from their fan base here. And even though it hasn't quite worked out the way they'd hoped, they're still packing them in at Petco Park.
That's what trading for and signing recognizable names will do. Even the casual fan will go, Matt Kemp, I've heard of Matt Kemp. He used to play for the Dodgers. Well, he's with us now. Well, let's go get some tickets.
Justin Upton is here. He'll be a free agent after this season, so I don't know if he'll be here next year. Kemp is on the hook for a few more years.
You get that initial buzz because the names are recognizable and guys have a track record, but so far it hasn't meshed quite the way the Padres were hoping for.
Yeah, they need a little more out of Kemp because he's got 5 years and $107 million left on his deal. Now the Padres are not paying all of it. LA pays $32 million of that remaining salary, but basically if you break it down, they got Kemp for $5 and $75 million, which would be the biggest deal in Padre history. And he has not delivered so far. Well, he's had a good night tonight. Couple of hits, a run scored, an RBI. 3-2 on Tomas. Gets it out to Matt Kemp, drifting near foul ground along the right field line and in the seats. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. That catch by David Peralta, which was almost self-defense here.
Nearly overran it, had to backpedal a few steps and reach up with that right arm, able to make the catch. Whew, he probably could have used a little air conditioning right about that time. He realized the ball was going to sail over his head. Nice recovery.
And next to Ariel Prieto, the D-back dugout. 3-2 on Tomas. Coming at you. Tenth pitch coming up. Center field, Venable. 2 down in the 9th, according to the Padres.
That's one of those at-bats right there by Yasmani Tomas. It ended up with an out on a line drive to center field, but good grinding at-bat. Fouled off some tough pitches. Finally got one he could handle and nearly hit it over Venable's head in straightaway center.
Drove it toward the gap, but Venable is a very good defensive player, ran it down. So Salty now, 0 for 3. The last man standing. Dodgers lost at Miami 3-2. Clayton Kershaw drops to 5-6 on the year, so the Diamondbacks here will remain 6 back of LA in the NL West. Padres will pick up a game. They'll be only 5.5 back. It's a tight division this year. Nobody running away and hiding by any stretch.
That's the good news. The Diamondbacks have let some games get away. They've let some chances get away where they could really climb back in this race. But even where they're at right now, they're one good week away from first place.
And you got the Dodgers coming into Chase Field starting on Monday. Three against LA, 4 against the Rockies on the next homestand. As this long stretch of NL West opponents continues. 2-2 to Salty. Ball 3. I think even Jared thought that was it.
Well, it's been a strike all night long. May not be in the strike zone, but it's been called a strike all night long. That backdoor curveball that just hangs out there off the outside corner.
Sky high, right center field. Venable wants it. Padres win it 7-2. They take the series. Justin Upton once again gets the big hit against the Diamondbacks. A homer against Jeremy Hellickson in the 5th to give them the lead. They never look back. Back with much more from San Diego after this. D-backs lose it 7-2.